I've been a fan of High School DxD for a little while now, and there's always been something that bothered me, and that's how much hate Asya gets. I've seen so many people and posts talking about how much they don't like her, and I think they're being really dramatic. Not everyone hates her, but it's still enough for it to be really noticeable, and the fan base actually seems divided on how they feel about Asya. So let's look at some examples of people hating Asya and see their reasoning. I started off by searching least favorite High School DxD character, and the first thing that showed up was an article talking about how much the fans don't like Asya. I mean, that should tell you a lot right there. So let's see what this article says. There are various reasons why fans feel this way, many centered around her voice, hair, and general appearance. I mean, these are actually some of the worst reasons I've seen people hate a character. Her voice is annoying. Yeah, I can kinda agree with that, but it's something you can get used to. And even if you can't get used to it, that shouldn't be a reason for you to hate a character. I mean, same thing with appearance. I mean, just looking at her character design isn't anything special, but it's not bad. I feel like people always need someone to hate, and unfortunately Asya ended up being that person. I mean, how a character looks can make a character better, but it really shouldn't make you dislike a character more, unless they just look outlandish, which she doesn't. I mean, anyone hating on her because of her appearance doesn't actually care about how she looks. A good looking character to them is just the character with the biggest tits. But those are some of the more ridiculous reasons. Let's look at some actual reasons people hate her, because those shouldn't even be acknowledged as actual criticism. Alright, this is the one I keep seeing everywhere. They keep saying she's ruining these etchy scenes with Rias, and honestly I don't even get what point they're trying to make here. Like, people can't be serious when they say they hate a character because of this, because they literally all do it to each other. All the girls do this. If you hate Asya for ruining all the etchy scenes, then you gotta hate all the other characters for doing it too. I mean, let's just go through some scenes of the other characters doing this, just so I can show you how bad of a reason this is. Season 3, episode 10, the whole group walked in on an emotional scene between Issei and Asya. This one isn't really the same, but it still kind of falls in that same category. Season 3, episode 6, Irina interrupts a scene between Issei, Asya, and Sinovia. Season 2, episode 10, Rias interrupts a scene between Issei and Akano. Season 4, episode 1, Rias interrupts another scene between Issei and Akano. Season 4, episode 3, Irina and Zinovia walk in on a scene between Issei and Asya. And then a few minutes later, Roswaisa walks in on a scene between Issei, Zinovia, and Irina. Season 4, episode 7, Akano, Konoko, and Asya all walk in on a scene between Issei and Irina. And then a few minutes later, Rias walks in on a scene between them. Season 1, episode 8, Grafia walks in on a scene between Issei and Rias. Season 4, episode 8, Issei literally ruins a scene by kinda scaring Rias away. Season 2, episode 7, Rias interrupts another scene between Issei and Akano. Shit, later on, Rias interrupts another scene between Issei and Zinovia. She actually might do this more than Asya, but no one ever gets on her for it, and for good reason, because they shouldn't. Season 4, episode 12, the whole group walked in on an important scene between Rias and Issei. And this scene is the only time that actually annoys me, but I don't blame a single character for that. I just blame the bad comedic timing for that. Like, that's just bad writing right there. So all these characters do this to each other, so why does Asya get the hate for it? And I mean, it's not like they're doing it for no reason. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the characters aren't just gonna have sex on the show. And because of that, the author has to come up with ways to include these scenes without making them actually have sex. So that's why you have characters interrupting. It's not an only Asya thing, but Asya is the only one that gets hate for it. And that seems to be the biggest reason why people hate her, but there are still a few more reasons I've heard, like this one. Let's look at this bottom part right here. It says, additionally, I also find Rias and Akano's more mature-like and woman-like characters more appealing than Asya, because Asya is childish and innocent. And for a sexualized anime, that's just more my taste. This goes a little more into depth on the appearance aspect of it, but I just don't get what this has to do with you not liking a character. Just because you don't find a character attractive doesn't mean you can't like them. Honestly, I don't really find any of the girls in High School DxD that attractive, but that's because I'm more into real women. Girls are not my cup of tea. This is also why I'm reluctant to do a waifu tier list, because I don't really care that much. And there's nothing wrong with being attracted to these characters. I mean, that's why they're made. But I think it's going a little too far when you say you don't like a character because you don't like how they look. It just doesn't make any sense to not like a character because you're not attracted to them. And if we're being real, I'm not talking about this guy specifically, but people will say they like Rias and Akano because they're more woman-like, but then turn around and like Konoko and Ravel. A lot of the reasons why people say they hate Asya can be said about the other characters. It's just weird how Asya gets singled out for some of these things. People love to throw the word useless out there without even really thinking about it. I don't know why people think you have to be able to fight to be helpful in a battle. I mean, she's a support character. She's the healer of the team. Without her, they lose a huge chunk of their team. She's very important in group battles. battles. I mean, she kept Issei alive when he fought Reiner the first time. She saved Issei's life when he was fighting Freed. Freed was about to kill him. I mean, realistically, she probably kept Rias good enough to keep fighting against Riser. She saved Irina after Freed beat her. She literally gave us the best scene in this show. She plays a huge role in Issei's power. She stuck up for him when Diodora disrespected him. I mean, she was running around during the Kokobile fight, healing everyone. The fight against the hero faction, again, she was healing everyone. I mean, calling her useless is just completely wrong. This is the only reason I can kinda see, and that's just her personality. But can you really blame her? I mean, her past has to be the reason she's so shy, right? But that comment under it is crazy. She should date the guy she saved? I don't even think I have to explain why. That's just a terrible take. But yeah, Asuya gets way too much hate from the fans. I mean, there are just so many forum posts of people just trashing on her. You can find them everywhere. And I mean, most of the points that they use against her could be used against all the other characters. But you see this in every fan base. Every fan base singles out one person to hate or blame. For example, I'm a big fan of the NBA, and the team I like is the Lakers. This past season, we had this guy named Russell Westbrook, and we would blame him for all our problems. Every time we lost, it was Russell Westbrook's fault. And a lot of times, it was his fault. So we ended up trading him to a different team. So since the Lakers traded Russell Westbrook to a new team, the fans needed to find someone else to hate on. And that's where Anthony Davis comes in. Now people like to trash on Anthony Davis instead of Russell Westbrook. So it's like they always need someone to blame. It's really weird. I don't really get it. But yeah, I think these people really need to chill on the Asuya hate. But thanks for watching.